First and foremost, before we get started, I like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rekah Kwadash, and double honors to those great millstone, while lunch is truth, and also to those elect that scattered abroad. I like to say, Shalom. Come back here today with another live lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. And the type of the live lesson is a prudent man foresees the evil. So I like to say shalom to all our listeners and learners. Hope this helped you today and guide you back in the path of righteousness and back to your true power, which in fact is Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. So before we start, open up the lesson, let's start off with a quick precept. Let's go here to First Peter chapter 5 and verse 1. It say, be sober, be vigilant. See, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. So one thing about it, be vigilant means to be what? Watchful. You know, the signs of the times are here. We're seeing that these prophecies right now are not slacking down for a moment. And also, you know, have a sober mind, you know, so don't be under these philosophy, you know, being drunk by, you know, by these different ideologies, these a tradition of men, you know, and also a lot of people right now still drunk, but not by wine, by these philosophies, by these false doctrines, you know, constantly getting rocked back to sleep from the left-hand side. So a prudent man, a wise man, which in fact are the men of the Lord, the prophets, you know what I'm saying? Also, you know what I'm saying, the true believers of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, we foresees the evil. You know, we can see things before it happened because the idea about it, the Lord already revealed his secrets to the servant, the prophet. So one thing about it, we seeing a lot of things are happening, events are happening all around the world. We already watching what's going on with these trade wars, you know, about these tariffs, you know, these things, they're going back and forth with that. We're constantly seeing a disruption in the supply chain line. A lot of things are constantly happening, telling you about these ports, you know, warning you about these things are on the decline, you know, there's going to be food short. A lot of things are coming, you know. Also in the news, I got a little video clip on that about these in Washington is talking about making major cuts in this Section 8, you know, so a lot of women right now are relaxing in their lead, you know, careless daughters of Zion, being very rebellious, being very prideful, you know, very masculine, you know, so keep that same energy when Jacob's trouble starts. So we already knowing that it is over. We're living in the end time, real time. So let's read this once again. First Peter chapter 5, verse 8 says, stay alert. Watch out for a great enemy, the devil. He prowls around like a roaring lion, looking for someone to devour. So one thing about it, we already know when you go to that word devil, it goes into diabolos. You know, someone that sides, you know what I'm saying, with what Satan, the physical counterpart of Satan is what the so-called white man, the devil that the Bible speaks of. So we know that he's getting ready to come down with great wrath. He getting ready to come with this new system, you know, this new digital society, you know, that badge of servitude. That's what we're constantly warning you about each and every day. All roads lead to that grain of rice, that MOTB. So, man, it is here, it's at the door. So one thing about it, you know, we got to stay alert, you know, redeem the time wisely because, you know, like it's your last day on earth, because one thing about it, you know, it's no day promised to you. We got to live it day by day, out of one ratazat, you know. So we seeing right now that these things are picking up. We are foreseeing what's getting ready to happen right before our eye. A lot of people are still, you know, accountable here. A lot of people right now, they're still saying, what are they talking about? They don't, you know, we don't see this what come because you're not spiritual. So one thing about it, that we are here to that adversary, the enemies, you know what I'm saying? They get ready to come upon us. And also, we seeing that Donald Trump, he is getting ready to federalize the local police with the military. So a lot of these things happen, talking about putting these the military in black communities, you know, in your neighborhood. So we already know that, you know, they get ready to come upon the people of color, Israel, you know what I'm saying? The Negroes, the Latinos, the Native Indians. I'm talking to you. And one thing about it, we know that we're very close to what Jacob's trouble. So I got this first little news article. I'm going to read some of it. Then I got a video to bring it out with a little bit more edification let's get this little first video. I want to do a little reading on this here. So we seeing right now that we're not ignorant of Satan's device. So we know right here, this would cause a lot of homelessness. You know, a lot of people going to be displaced. You know, a lot of things that get ready to come up. If they, this right here, we already know they get ready to cut all your benefits off. Like a lot of people on food stamp, Section 8, you know, what is this, getting child support, Social Security. You know, we already know that some particular time they're going to tell you, in order to keep getting these benefits from the government, you're going to have to take it under the skin. We're not ignorant of Satan's device. We constantly warn you about these things, and it's about to get real. So this first little news report I got here by Boston.com, it said Washington plans on deep cuts to Section 8 housing vouchers. So, hey, man, you getting ready to get uncomfortable. It said local advocates are sounding the alarm over leaked plans to cut Section 8 housing vouchers, said warning the move could push millions into homelessness. So that's exactly what they're trying to do, that order out of chaos, you know, displace a lot of people, you know, get you to the bend and lean on them to consent. So we seeing where this is going. So when they take you out of your comfort zone and you're going to be saying, what is I'm going to do? What is I'm going to eat? And out about this Section 8 voucher, a lot of people right now are paying maybe, you know, very cheap rent right now. We already know that the cost of living is very high. You know, we know that inflation, you know, the prices of food, rent, you know what I'm saying? Everything's pretty much going up, you know, even though he's saying that, you know, things are coming down, but we already seeing that things are getting ready to spiral out of control, because we know that these tariffs, this trade war between China and America is getting ready to spiral out of control. So one thing about that, we know that we hear the birth pains are speaking loud and clear. So let's read that once again. It said local advocates are sounding the alarm over leaked plans to cut Section 8 housing vouchers, said warning the move could push millions into homelessness. So that's, you know, the beginning of sorrow. A lot of people gonna be, you know, displaced. A lot of people gonna be homeless. You know, a lot of people gonna starve to death. That's what we constantly warn you about. It says here, it says the LOFTE says spoke out against the Trump administration a proposed plan to replace 2.3 million Section 8 vouchers with block grants. It says here, Micah Kane, co-chair of LOPTE, says the National Tenant Organization wants to communicate strongly that this is not acceptable and that there should be no cuts to HUD, rental housing assistance. Said they should be increasing it. Say he continued, if you cut them, said more people will be homeless. So that's exactly what they want. You know, they want to make you depend on them, make you come to them, you know, trust in the strength of Egypt. This new system that they're putting into play. Shalom to Ramya on the comment, boy. Shalom to you, bro. And everyone else on the comment, but shalom for joining me on this live. Shalom to you. Brakathah. So we knowing that we are very close, that these things are coming. So this devil is getting ready to take a lot of your amenities, your dainties, your luxuries away from you. You know what I'm saying? The only way you will get them, you're going to have to take it under the skin. That's what we constantly warning you about. So this right here, they trying to make cuts to Section 8 housing. They already talking about the food stamp. So, you know, this is things about to get real. We already know they're having a disruption also in the ATMs. You know, a lot of people, you know, they'll wake up one morning or get ready to try to get some cash from the ATM. You know, they say it's out of service, or they might go to the bank. The bank is closed. You know, my sister, she lived in California. She was telling me about it. You know, the bank was closed and the ATMs were down, you know, for over a day with no given reason. You know, we down. It's just down. We closed today. You know, so things like that is going to happen all of a sudden. So let's get another quick precept. Let's get the title of the day lesson. Let's get the one here in Proverbs chapter. Let's get the one here in Jeremiah chapter 28 and verse 8 said, the prophet that had been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evils and a pestilence. So that's what we constantly doing. The prophets of old, are here right now, so the spirit of the prophet is subject to the prophet. There's no new thing under the sun. So right now, we constantly warning you about these evil times. It's ill times, Jacob's trouble, the hour of temptation. We warning you about pestilence. We warning you about war. Things about to get real. That's why we constantly we foreseeing the evil. All hell is getting ready to break loose, even though that will sound like a broken record. But these are the times that we're living in. We constantly warning you left and right. Jeremiah chapter 28 and verse 9 said, the prophet which prophesied of peace, when the word of the prophet shall come to pass, then shall the prophet be known that the Lord had truly sent him. So in that day, you're going to know who the Lord is really truly dealing with. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to get tried as gold is tried in the fire. The Lord's going to come to perfect us. The Lord's going to bring us through the fire. You know what I'm saying? And one thing about it, we're seeing that these things are constantly increasing. These evils are constantly growing around us left and right. These pestilence, they keep telling you about an outbreak, keep telling you about they're going to cut this. You're going to have to get your real ID. And also they're saying, I seen a clip of one of the brothers, Gabar Nash. He had a lesson. They're saying that they're getting ready to make the Social Security card digital. So we already know what this is going, it's digitally, so they get ready to do away with the cards. They get ready to do away with the debit cards. Everything pretty much dealing with cards. They get ready to do away with, everything is getting ready to be under your skin, if you understand what I'm saying. So let's read verse 9 again. It said, the prophet which prophesied of peace said, when the word of the prophet shall come to pass, then shall the prophet be known that the Lord had truly sent him. So when these things come to pass, these prophecies, the signs of the time, then they shall know that a prophet was among them. So, even though right now you thinking that this is a game, but all the game's about to be over. So now let's get this little video. I got a couple of videos I'm bring out. Then we're gonna bring out some more prisons that we can go back and forth. Let's get this first one here about this guy here. He's not really a prophet, but he bring out some good points, some good videos. Let's get this one right quick about this Section 8 voucher.
TikTok, this is for educational purposes only, to edify and to uplift and to teach, so that those who don't know will know. A lot of you need to understand, Section 8 is coming to an end. It's coming to an end. So let's get Bible chapter and verse, precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little. You need to wake up. You need to be warned. Let's get busy. Washington plans on deep cuts to Section 8 housing vouchers. Local advocates are speaking out against leaked plans to make cuts to Section 8. If you want Section 8, HUD housing, you need to pay attention. This was published April 30th, 2025. It says local advocates are sounding the alarm over leaked plans to cut Section 8 housing vouchers, warning the move could push millions into homelessness. Leaders and organizers for the tenant empowerment spoke out against the Trump administration's proposed plan to replace 2.3 million Section 8 vouchers with block grants. See that? This is the whole thing they've been trying to do. You see with the consequences with the tariffs backfiring on them, they got to make up the lost ground. And this is one of the ways they're going to do it. Let's keep going. This is what one of the advocates said. He said he continued, right? He said, if you cut them, more people will be homeless. You see that? The leaked plan for deep cuts to Section 8 housing vouchers from the White House, right? Office of Management and Budget first appeared in an article in the New York Times on April 17th. So I tell y'all, stop partying, stop having fun so much to the point to where you don't know what's going on. Now, it's okay to have fun in moderation, but you need to have balance. Have fun and be serious. Balance is all about life. So if you're always having fun, of course, things like this are going to sneak up on you. 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 71 through 74. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses.
So we got enough of that. The point been made on this one, but we see it right now. So if this pretty much gonna go into effect, they're gonna cut a lot of people out of this this Section 8, this HUD program. You know, a lot of people depend on that. A lot of people are low income. You know, they constantly, you know, a lot of people been raised up on this government assistance, and now they're trying to cut it out because of these tariffs, these taxes that they're putting on these other countries. But one thing about it, it's all by design. It's been manufactured, you know what I'm saying, and designed from what the left hand side, but it's all through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua. So I got another one I'm gonna show in a minute, but let's get a few precepts to get a little bit of edification on that. Let's go here to Isaiah chapter 32. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of women right now, you know, they're getting this Section 8, they're getting stamps, food stamps, and also they're getting what you call child support, you know, but all these things are getting ready to dry up. What are you going to do now? I don't need a man. You know what I'm saying? A man ain't shit, but hey, we getting ready to come upon these perilous times. This red devil, he's getting ready to show you what time we living in. You know what I'm saying? The Lord is getting ready to show you what time that we're living in. You know what I'm saying? So we read right here. Let's read this here, Isaiah chapter 32, and in verse 9 it said, rise up, ye women that are at ease, to hear my voice, ye careless daughters, give ear unto my speech. So one thing about it, you know, a lot of these women right now, they're constantly relaxing. You know, hey, I don't need a man, I'm good, whatever, like everything, just going on with your daily life. But they get ready to cut all these government assistance off. And also we know that universal basic income is getting ready to come into play, but it's going to come with some fine print. You're going to have to take it under the skin. Things are getting ready to be digital. You know what I'm saying? Things are getting ready to get very critical. Also, we know that we're coming upon a digital society, a digital infrastructure, you know, with AI takeover. So a lot of these jobs, I got another clip I'm going to show about this UPS. They're getting ready to roll out these robots that's going to be working in these warehouses, you know, and loading these trucks. You know, I got a little short video on that also. You know, so it's a lot of these things that happen. So a lot of them right now are careless. You know, they say, hear my voice. Well, hear what the men of the Lord, the one that's constantly warning you about these impending dangers. So when that time of trouble comes, you know, a woman ain't gonna be shit. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna rape a woman to peace. I mean, grape a woman to peace. Salaki. You know what I'm saying? Only for edification purpose. You know, we know how YouTube get down, but you see it right here. A lot of people, you know, a lot of women are going to be in for a rude awakening. So when that Isaiah 4:1 is getting ready to come into play in a big way. So when Jacob trouble start, a lot of women's and also men's going to be what? Humble. You know what I'm saying? The Lord is going to what? Cease the arrogancy of the proud. So let's read this once again. It says in Isaiah chapter 32 and verse 9 said, rise up, ye women that are at ease. Hear my voice. Ye careless daughters, give ear unto my speech. So one thing about it, like, right now, it's all good right now. Got a lot of people, getting these food stamps. They getting these Section 8. They probably working also. And a lot of things is going on, but this man is getting ready to cut you off. You know what I'm saying? One thing about it, that's why we knowing that these things are coming upon it. Also, it was in the news. It was saying about these cell phones. This has not been confirmed. There's rumors that I think today, Monday, some part of Monday, talking about the phone service will be out. Well, we will have to wait and see, but we know at some point of time that a lot of things are going to happen. Cyber attack, EMP, a lot of things. We already know that these blackouts are constantly happening, around the world simultaneously. Why are these things happening? They're doing test run on this new system or whatever it may be. But we know that we are coming upon this time. So let's go back up at Isaiah chapter 32, that a man would be a safe haven in that time of trouble. Let's get this one right quick. Isaiah chapter 32 and verse 2, it says, a man shall be as a hiding place from the wind and a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land. So in that time, the Lord is getting ready. His high value men are what? The prophets, the one that's in the highways and byways, the one that's constantly making these video epistles, the one that's constantly keeping out silent, constantly what? Pursuing the evil, constantly sounding an alarm each and every day, whether you will hear or whether you will forbear. We are here. We're living in the last days. And one thing about it, any given day, all hell can break loose. So we already know that Jacob's trouble is going to start. And one thing about it, if you don't cleave to a man of the Lord, you know what I'm saying, you are going to be totally destroyed. These women are getting ready to find out know who the Lord is really truly dealing with. So now I got this other video by UPS. So we already know that they already started a lot of jobs with these robotics trying to go autonomous. You know, a lot of these restaurants, these warehouses, some of these retail store, you know, going into AI, going into robotics. We also, you know, that with this new bill that DJ Donald Trump passed is going into AI, these robotic dogs, you know what I'm saying, these drones. So we seeing what is this going? It's constant going, and you know, so we seeing that we are very close. We seeing that these things are getting ready to get very critical. Hard times are upon us. So now let's get this one right here. And also a lot of people are getting ready to what? To lose their jobs. You know, so the grind is getting ready to cease. We'll get that in a minute also too. Let's go here. Let's get this one here by this UPS robots. I got another one right here.
This is it. UPS workers and drivers. UPS is now going to be initiating a robotic workforce. That's right, they are hiring humanoid robots that may be soon delivering packages to everyone's houses. They are linking up with a company called Figure AI that makes humanoid robots, and they're going to be using it for this giant delivery services all over the world. And UPS is one of the biggest delivery services companies that we have. And many people work for them. Many people love working for this company because they pay well. It's a job that you can get out and get fresh air, get exercise. This is a great job. And many people work hard to get it. And now they're going to give it away to rusty robot buckets over here. I think that's a shame. I think that, yeah, they're going to hire and make these 5'6" robots that are going to stand side by side on the conveyor belt at first. That's how they maneuver them in, right? They're going to maneuver them in that way. They're going to have self-driving trucks, and then all this robot's going to have to do is jump out and deliver it to your porch, and that's it. Is this the end of your friendly UPS driver, or is it the beginning of something else? Leave your comment in the comments section if you're worried about this. Take care. Talk to yourself.
So we're seeing that we're very close, you know, that they're this AI takeover, you know, so, you know, they get ready to force you in a chokehold. So a lot of these things are fast approaching, you know. We know that we're very close. So we seeing that they're close. They are slowly replacing the job with robotics. You know, they starting with the warehousing, you know, telling you know they're gonna load the trucks for right now. And also we already know they got autonomous truck 18-wheeler trucks right now that's on the road right now as we speak. So we already know a lot of these truck drivers getting ready to lose their job as we know it. So we already know that's going to bring what? A lot of chaos. A lot of people going to be afraid. A lot of people have a great desperation when they don't how to pay their bills or help to be able to provide for their family. So we already know a lot of what Jake is going to do. Who shall rise him up? So we already know that civil unrest, that civil war, it's right here. It's close at hand. So now let's go here to Ecclesiastes. You know what I'm saying? So we're seeing that the grinding is what is ceasing. You know, we are so very excited. You know what I'm saying? This, you know, the Lord is constantly, you know, we're seeing before our eye the fall of America. Babylon the Great, you know, it's falling and will not ever get back up again. And we cannot wait, man. Let's go here to Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 1. It says here, remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth. So while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh or near, so when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. So right now, you know, it's time to seek the Lord, you know, why he is, you know, is near, why the Lord seek the Lord early, to seek the Lord while he can be found, you know, it's because we are running out of time. And one thing about it, you know, is, you know, all of us right now should be seeing the signs of the times of here. We ought to be knowing that, you know, something is getting ready to happen. A lot of people right now are seeing things, you know what I'm saying? Even though whether you're in the truth or not in the truth, the Lord said, I will pour out my spirit on all flesh. So a lot of people beginning to see that that things is changing. Life, world changing events is getting ready to come upon us. This place is getting ready to be a third world country, you know, over a blink of an eye. You know, so right now, a lot of people are going to work right now, but it's still a lot of uncertainty. You can come in, you know, get ready to go to your job, and all of a sudden, you know, it got a padlock right there. You can't get into your job. No explanation. They just shutting down because one thing about it, they bringing in a new system. They really don't need a man and woman workforce anymore. They got robotics. These robots that they have now can do all sorts of things. You know what I'm saying? They are more humanoid, you know, just like when you watch the Terminator. You know, they show you in the movies first what they'll get ready to do. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, it's time to seek the Lord. So, because these days that's coming upon us, you will not have any pleasure in them. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you know what I'm saying? The day coming with no man working. So it's going to be a lawless time. Let's read this once again. It said, Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 1, it said, remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth. It said, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh. So when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them, we coming upon that time. Verse 2 said, while the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after rain. Verse 3 said, so in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, so and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease, because they are few, and those that look out the windows are darkened. So the keepers of the house right now, they're seeing that dark forecast. You know, a lot of people, you know, these financial analysts, these stockbrokers, you know what I'm saying? They seeing that you know, the outcomes, hey man, this, you know, it's not looking good. You know, things are on the decline. They seeing all these different things that are happening, seeing that these jobs, you know, they're replacing, you know, man with what machines. So we already know where this is going, transhumanism. So we seeing the keepers of the house, they seeing that dark forecast that, you know what I'm saying, that, hey man, this don't look good. You know, a great crashing into here, a great financial, economic collapse is getting ready to happen before we already know about these banks, this disruption with the ATMs and also these bank closing. These things are constantly hitting left and right. We seeing it. And also it said the grinding shall cease. So we're seeing it at the UPS video, you know, that they're replacing the UPS, the warehouses. They're going to have a whole warehouse, total AI, autonomous with these robots. We already know where that's going. They're going to have autonomous driving robots for the trucks, delivering stuff straight to your door. Just like the man said, what's all this leading to that grain of rice? So we're not ignorant of Satan's device. So we see it right here. The grinding is ceasing. So that grinding goes into unemployment, you know, jobs. You know, it's going to be a lot of people are going to be homeless. A lot of people going, you know, poverty is going to set in, you know, starvation, great death, you know, great destruction, great persecution, great tribulation. So let's read this once again. It says, Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 3 says, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease, because they are few, and those that look out the windows be darkened. So a lot of people right now, they'll you know, wake up in the morning, they'll look out, man, there's nothing, man. Hey, man, these dark days are ahead. All the good old days are gone pretty much since we've been in America. No, it's been no good days for us. The two-thirds, you know, they love it here, but they get ready to die here. So we're seeing that dark forecast is upon us. Things are spiraling out of control. Man, we are here, man. Verse 4, Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 4, it said, and the door shall be shut in the street. So when the sound of the grinding is low, say, and he shall rise up at the voice of the birds, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. So we seeing right now that's where we at. You know, a lot of people gonna wake up in the morning, you know, they're not gonna be happy. You know, a lot of people gonna be, you know, not have the strength or the what I'm trying to say is that they're not gonna be enthusiastic. You know, they to look for a job because they know that they're none, you know, so they go, what are we going to do? How is I'm going to do that? And one thing about it, your faith is getting ready to be tried. Your faith is getting ready to be maxed out. The Lord is getting ready to find out who is on his side. And one thing about it, the true believers of Yahweh, Baal Shem Yahushua, the one that can foresee the evil. So now, let's go here. Let's go here, Ecclesiastes, because a lot of people right now, you know what I'm saying, the daughter of music or the house of myrrh. You know, a lot of people still, you know, they're like, you know, they're looking now. They're beginning to see, hey, something is getting ready to happen. So a lot of people love, you know, a lot of what you call folly. You know what I'm saying? A lot of nonsense, a lot of this bread and circus show. But all these things are about to be over. It's about to be real. Let's go here to Ecclesiastes chapter 7. Then we get the next video. Then I go to the comment board. Ecclesiastes chapter 7, and let's see here. Let's go here to verse 4. Let's start up at verse. Let's start up at verse 2. It says here, it is better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting, for that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it to his heart. Verse 3, sorrow is better than laughter, for by sadness of the countenance the heart is made better. So one thing about it, a lot of people right now is getting ready to see a lot of sorrow. A lot of people right now, they love that Broadgate. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to have these levels of adversity. It's my money and I want it now. They got that type of attitude. But one thing about it, the Lord's getting ready to take all your resources, your livelihood, your way of life is getting ready to change overnight. You know what I'm saying? The Lord's getting ready to break this place down. He's getting ready to break you down. All the pridefulness and all the deceivingness and all the covenants, all these things that get ready to be put to rest. Let's see here. Verse 4 said, the heart of the wise is in the house of mourning. Who is that? He's talking about the what? The true believers of Yahweh, the elect. But the heart of the fools are in the house of Mary. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people, when you go in that word fool, it goes into what? Being empty-headed. You're walking around here docile. You walking around, you don't know what time they will live. You're eating good right now. You're drinking good right now. But one thing about it, the Lord's getting ready to snatch the rug off from under your ass. You know what I'm saying? These jobs, they're right now. Oh, I'm going to work right. What are they talking about? They constantly showing you that they get ready to use this new technology. You know what I'm saying? This AI. You know what I'm saying? This robotics, transhumanism. A lot of these things are coming into play. You know what I'm saying? They get ready to make you a walking device. So one thing about it, so we already knowing that the heart of the wise is in the house of mourning. So right now, but you knowing that very soon that the Lord is getting ready to exalt us. The Lord is getting ready to put us back in our first estate. So let's go here to 1 Thessalonians chapter 2. Let's get this one right quick. This man get ready to come with these lying wonders. That's what we constantly warn you about. And also that grain of rice, it is right around the corner. So we already knowing that what's going on in Israel. Also, those fires over there in Israel. I intend to bring that out. So a lot of things is constantly happening over there in the Middle East. Keep your eyes on the least of the flock, which in fact is Israel. And also we know we keeping our eyes upon Iran. They keep going back and forth like they're saying that if they don't make some type of agreement with this, with their missile, with these nuclear capabilities, they don't want Iran to have nuclear capabilities. They're saying that if they don't come to some type of agreement, that they're going to go into Iran. But we already know how that story is going to end. So let's go here. We get another quick video, and then we go to the comment board. See how I'm running on time. Okay, let's go here to 1 Thessalonians chapter 2. We'll start up at let's go straight to the point here. Let's go here to let's go here to verse 9. Let's go straight to the point. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 9 says, even him who is coming is after the working of Satan with all powers and signs and lying wonders. So that's one thing about it, that who is coming is after the working of Satan. The physical counterpart of Satan is the so-called white man, the devil that the Bible speaks of. And out about it, he do, he do the bidding. You know what I'm saying? Left and right, all this left-hand energy. And these signs and these wonders talk about this technology, counterfeit technology. A lot of people is going to be enticed. A lot of people are going to lean and trust and depend, and they're going to be totally destroyed. So we coming upon that time. A lot of people say, oh, this is very, very convenient. This is very safe. But a lot of people going to be thinking that this is cool. But the Lord said, do not take it. Trust and believe in him. So this man is going to come with what? This counterfeit technology. So let's read in the NLT, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 9 in the NLT. It said, this man will come to do the work of Satan, the so-called white man, the devil that the Bible speaks of, with counterfeit power and signs and miracles. So we already know that he's coming with that Neuralink. You know what I'm saying? We can make you see again. You'll be a superhero. You will live forever. You'll be stronger. You'll be able to run quicker and faster. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people are going to get enticed by that, you know. So we're seeing a lot of people right now signing up, taking that Elon Musk Neuralink, that brain computer interface chip. You know, so all road leading that way. And also they're going to take that grain of rice and going to be dealing with your transaction. So it's getting ready to start with these jobs, this real ID. And also they're talking about once again, that these social security cards are getting ready to go digital. So one thing about it is that, you know, everyone is getting ready to make a decision whether they want to or not. The hour of temptation is fast approaching. So we know that, man, we're here. And so a lot of people gonna believe in this, in this, and they're gonna be totally destroyed. Let's read this verse 10. It said, "And with all deceivingness, you know, that pseudo sign that his technology, this AI robotics, transhumanism, tried to mask man with machine. A lot of these things are coming. That's what we constantly warn you about, left, right. So it's already here. All they have to do is announce it. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 10, it said, "And with all deceivingness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved." Verse 11 said, "And for this cause the Almighty shall give them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie." So a lot of people gonna be very delusional. The Lord is gonna let you go over into that reprobated mind, because you didn't trust in him. You know, you trust in unrighteousness, all sorts of lies and deceit. A lot of people gonna trust in this technology. You know, it's very convenient. It's safe. All you have to do is wave your hand. Or, you know, we have this universal basic income. We'll give you $5,000 or $10,000 a month. All you have to do is very painless. It's very harmless. You know what I'm saying? Very safe and convenient. A lot of things that you can do very quickly. You know what I'm saying? But one thing we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. So now let's get this next video. It's talking about this deportation and how they can come at any given time and just take you. You know, that's what we've been telling you about, left and right. You know, so the devil should cast some of you into prison. So we're right here. We're so very close.
As it stands tonight, we live in a country where the President of the United States and his lawyers are insisting in court that the president can snatch anyone in America out of their car while their child is in the back seat, as was the case for Mr. Abrego Garcia, put that person on a plane to El Salvador, locking that person up in a prison in El Salvador, and if it turns out that that person's an American citizen who has never committed a crime anywhere in the world, then that's just an administrative error, and it cannot be fixed. Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor said in the unanimous Supreme Court opinion ordering the Trump administration to facilitate the release of Mr. Abrego Garcia, the implication of the government's position is that not only non-citizens, but also United States citizens can be taken off the streets, forced onto planes, and confined to foreign prisons with no opportunity for redress. Meaning forever. As of tonight, those are the conditions we are all living in the United States. As Justice Sotomayor said, quote, "Not only non-citizens, but also United States citizens can be taken off the streets, forced onto planes, and confined to foreign prisons with no opportunity for redress." Donald Trump said they can put you in prison for the rest of your life. And once they get you there, there's nothing that you or any lawyer or any judge or anyone anywhere in the world, including the United States Supreme Court, can ever do to get you out of that prison. And you don't have to take my word for it, because those are the words of Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor, who thought she grew up in a country where that could never happen.
So we seeing right now, the devil shall cast some of you into prison. So we are so very close that these things are getting ready to come upon us at a fast pace. So we know that this man is getting ready to make a move. on the children of Israel, you Negroes, you Latinos, you Native Indians. I'm talking to you. So we're seeing in that video whereby that, they can, at any given time, this deportation, agenda that he has going on. Also, he's saying that he's getting ready to get the military involved, to go into your houses, search you out, bring you to a facility. You already have these FEMA camps in place, these prisons around different countries. It's already been set up so they can, once they get you there, once you get there, if the Lord is not on your side, you'll go in, but you're not going to come out. A lot of things are getting ready to happen. That's what we are constantly warning you about. So these things are already in place. Trust and believe in Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. So let's go here to Revelation chapter 2 and verse 10. We're going to go to the comment board. I have one more video to show. We show it in a minute. Revelation chapter 2 and verse 10. Revelation chapter 2 and verse 10. So we're seeing in that video. So a lot of people going to be displaced. A lot of people going to be stressed out to the max, and also a lot of people going to submit and take that under the skin, because once they get you in that chokehold, a lot of people are not going to have faith. They're not going to have works. They're going to say, yes, I'll take it. You know what I'm saying? They're going to line up just like clockwork, and you still are going to be totally destroyed, because one thing about it, you trust in wickedness and not in your true power. Revelation chapter 2 and verse 10 said, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, said that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Said, be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. So one thing about it, we already knowing that this man has already got these things into play, these prisons in these different countries, around these certain countries, like El Salvador, Venezuela. And I can't think of the other one. It's a couple of them that he can seem to. Also, it's one in Cuba, that military base, I think it's Guantanamo Bay, if I'm not mistaken. They were trying to send people there. And also, we know that a lot of these Walmarts, super centers are closing their doors. I seen a little clip on that they're closing down. Walmart now say they're shutting down, because of something. I can't think what it was, but they'll make up something. But we already know that they're gonna also be where they're gonna be housing a lot of people too, when they call for martial law. So we know that we're very close. These FEMA camps, these facilities, these chipping stations. We constantly go over these things left and right. Be thy faithful. It said 10 days. So that going into a number of days, whatever, how long it may be. The Lord said, trust in him, even in death. The Lord said he will give thee a crown of life. So we already know that some of the men of the Lord is going to be a martyrs for the truth. But one thing about it, when the Lord returns, they will be the first one on the chariot with him coming back. You know what I'm saying, man? We know that we're very close. UFO sites are increasing all over the world. Let's get this right quick. Let's read it once again. It says in the NLT. Let's read it in the NLT. Revelation chapter 2 and verse 10 in NLT. It said, don't be afraid of what you are about to suffer. So the devil will throw some of you into prison to test you. So that's what's getting ready to happen. The Lord's getting ready to test you, get ready to test your faith. It said, you will suffer for 10 days. Said, but if you remain faithful, even when facing death, I will give you a crown of life, immortality, rulership, spiritual power. You know what I'm saying? Power over the nation. And one thing about it is, it's our time to rule. We're seeing that transition of power. We're seeing the Lord constantly get ready to translate, you know what I'm saying, the kingdom from one person to another. So we in that transition of power. We at the end of an age. The Lord is constantly making these things happen left and right. So, hey, any given time, you can be at home. Hell, you can be even at your job, and they can come there and say, hey, we taking you to this facility. And one thing about it, if you're not a true believer, or you're not a part of the elect, you know what I'm saying, you're going to be bugged out of your mind. And a lot of people are going to line up, and they're going to take that chip just like it's taking candy from a baby. You know what I'm saying? So you already know what happened in 2020. When they did the test run, what happened? A lot of people just line up there, take me, I take it. You know what I'm talking about? So that's coming back in a big way also. So a lot of our people are very docile. A lot of our people are very ignorant. You know what I'm saying? They don't have the knowledge. They don't really very rebellious, very wicked. I had to keep my job. I was thinking about my family. You know, I did it because my wife or my husband did. But one thing about it, you did not trust in your true power. So the Lord's going to show you a strong delusion. So let's get to here about the sports. Then we're going to go to the comment board. Let's see right here quick about these sports. I might have one more after that. And so we're going to know that the song places get ready to come unsown. So when them ports dry up, we already knowing that these retail stores, these warehouses, all these things are going to be stripped empty. And also these drugstores, a lot of people, need a medication. It's getting ready to be, it's about to get real. Let's get this right here.
From China bringing cargo unaffected by President Trump's massive new tariffs are sailing into American ports. So that means the countdown to supply shortages and rising prices has officially begun. Goods that were loaded after April 9th are going to be hit with a 145% tariff.
Huge tariff. Let's go to New York right now. CNN business and politics correspondent Vanessa Yurkevich is watching all of this unfold. Vanessa, how soon will we see the prices on Chinese-made products jump here in the United States?
Well, if it could be weeks, and as Pamela said, you have ships that are sailing across the ocean into New York ports that next week will be carrying that higher tariff of 145%. But I should note, there will be fewer ships and less cargo because it is simply too expensive for some importers to do business with China right now. So once those ships come into the U.S. ports, retailers have said that they have a...
So he said it's countdown, so we already know that, man, Salaki for that. So we know we're very close. We get one more about this Iran situation too, but we're going to go get this quick precept, and I'm going to go to the comment board. I see Ramya, you got it lit it up for me. Some water for that, brother. See, you like the comment board up for me. That's what we supposed to do, Hey, but man, we're so very close. Let's get this one here. Let's go to Amos chapter 3. Let's get to one here by Amos chapter 3. So the prudent man foreseeing the evil. And also we know that the Lord, he's causing these things to happen left and right. That's why the trumpet has been blown. We already know about these trade wars. We know about this tension that's going on in Iran. A lot of things that happen. This tariff, what's going on between China and America. Also, we know what's going on with Russia and Ukraine. A lot of things are happening. These new alliances is coming into place. We know he's constantly hearing rumors about, they'll get ready to start this new digital society. Amos, I don't ramble long enough. Amos chapter, what is that here? Amos chapter 3, something I'm trying to get out here in Amos chapter 3. Salakia, phone running a little slow. Amos chapter 3. And I started at verse 6. Amos chapter 3 and verse 6. And see how we running on time. Okay. Amos chapter 3 and verse 6 said, shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city, and the Lord has not done it? So one thing about that trumpet has been blown. The men of the Lord, we constantly been warning you about all these evils that is constantly growing all around. And when you go into that word evil, it goes into a ill time, a time of trouble that we have never seen before. Jacob's trouble is at the door, the hour of temptation, that grain of rice. It's about to get real. We constantly warning you left and right. So one thing about it, it says here, once again, shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city, and the Lord has not done it? So the Lord is calling all these evils to constantly grow all around, coming upon us on every side. They're not going to slack down for a moment. The Lord is calling these things to happen because the Lord is getting ready to usher in a new age that dwells in righteousness, the kingdom of heaven. So we're very close. Verse 7 is who he's constantly the one that foreseeing evil, because the Lord is constantly revealing his secret or his war plans to what? To the men of the Lord. So the Lord is a man of war. The Lord is gathering the nation for what the controversy of Zion. What was done to us is getting ready to be done to them. It is payday. The Lord said, I will repay. Vengeance is mine. So one thing about it, all we got to do is stand still. The Lord is fighting for us right now. So that's all we got to do. The Lord is getting ready to, the tables are getting ready to turn. The writing is on the wall. Verse 7, Amos chapter 3 and verse 7 said, surely the Lord power will do nothing, but he reveals his secrets unto his servants, the prophets. That's what we constantly, warning, you know what I'm saying? The Lord is constantly, we are, you know what I'm saying? We are the mouthpiece of Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua. Whatever the Lord give us, that's what we're going to say. These are not our words. These are the words of Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua, the one that's constantly revealing things to us. The Lord is constantly showing all the signs of the time. It's obvious and clear that we're living in the end time, real time. So now, let's go here. I got one more video, but we're going to go to the comment board. The comment board is lit up. Let's get to this comment board, see what we got on the comment board right quick. Let's go here to the comment board. Let me open it up right quick. Let me see, can I get to it? Let me find it. One moment. So we know that a lot of evils are constantly growing. We're seeing right now, they're getting ready to go use AI takeover. We know that we are so very close to this man to announce this implementation of under your skin. You understand what I'm saying? So we are so very close, and that's why we got to be prayed up. We got to be watching. So let me turn this down right quick. Let's start up at the top. And once again, for water, for all you joining me on this live, Brakathon. We got here Ramya. See what he got here. Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 4 says, and these are the words that the Lord spake concerning Israel and concerning Judah. Verse 5, it says, for thus said the Lord, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Verse 6 said, ask ye now, and see whether a man doeth travail with child. Said, wherefore do I see every man with his hand on his loins, and as a woman in travail, and all faces are turned into paleness. So we coming upon this time. We getting very close, man. All hell breaking loose. But the Lord said, for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Same brother, Aramya, got here, Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 7. Said, at last, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. And who shall be saved out of the elect, the true believers of Yahweh. So I like you for that. Let me put my phone on Do Not Disturb right quick. But I'm hoping they don't call back, but I'm almost done anyway. That's always having the devil get busy every time you start doing 11. So let's read that once again. Jeremiah chapter 30 and verse 7 says, at last, for that day is great, so that is none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall save out of it. So you're already knowing that the 2/3 are going to be cut off on this side, but who the one that is going to be saved is the 1/3. You know what I'm saying? Which in fact, Jacob's name was later changed to Israel. So we know that Jacob is the progenitor of the 12 tribes of Israel. So one thing about it, we already knowing that the Lord said he's going to save his elect, because one thing about it, we foresee the evil. We constantly standing 10 toes down. We would not bend a foe. So Lord is going to come back to deliver us, you know what I'm saying, with that great fathership, with great glory, great power. So we know we're coming upon this time. We know that this devil is getting ready to implement a lot of things, trying to put that plan into place. We know we're seeing right now, the devil is getting ready to fill his belly, his enterprise, bring forth his plan, what he want, total control. So let's go here. Same brother, Isaiah chapter 32 and verse 9 said, rise up. We read it once before, but we read it again. It said, Isaiah chapter 32 and verse 9 said, rise up, ye women that are at ease. Say, hear my voice, ye careless daughters, give ear unto my speech. Verse 10 said, many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless women, for the vintage shall fall, and the gathering shall not come. So we coming upon that time. These women are getting ready to get humble. See what they're saying about this Section 8 cutting off by 2.3 million people is going to be homeless. This is all by design. So we already know what they're going to come up with, that solution, this universal basic income. We're here to help you. Everything will be all right. All you must do is take this little small grain of rice under the skin, and everything will be fine. But it will not be fine. You'll get ready to suffer that second death, which in fact is the lake of fire. So a lot of people get ready to feel the fire. You know what I'm saying? Because one thing about it, they're just constantly going all the way backwards. Israel does not consider, they don't know who they are. They don't know who their true power, and also they don't know what time that we're living in. We tell them, about the MOTB, what is that? What are you talking about? Jeebus. You know what I'm saying? So our people, a lot of them going to have to be totally destroyed, And so these, a lot of our women right now relaxing in their leagues. They're thinking that they're a good K, very private, very masculine, outspoken, want to exert authority over the man. But these things are coming to an end. Whether I don't give a damn what you try to do, you're going back into order. You get ready to get back in your right mind. We have a beautiful daughter of Zion that is, constantly following the men of the Lord, trying to be godly, like the Lord has designed the daughters of Zion to be. It's a beautiful thing, when you look at it, so they have a beautiful role also, but man, we're just talking about the wicked women, you know what I'm saying? So it's a lot more women's going to pass, it's going to be unalived than men, because you have more women's in the world than men. So we here, man, we are very close. And so let's go here to verse 11, Isaiah chapter 32 and verse 11. He said, tremble ye women that are at ease, be troubled, ye careless ones, strip you and make you bare and gird sackcloth upon your loins. So we're coming upon that time. The Lord is going to cease the arrogancy of the proud. So a lot of people right now are comfortable here. They love it here. They're thinking that they're a good case. Constantly, saying that I'm good. I have plenty right now. But all of a sudden, all hell is getting ready to break loose. It's time to come back under that total subjection to Yahweh, Baal Shem Yahushua, because He is the only way. We constantly warning you left and right. If the Lord is not on your side, you're going to be unalive. See here, let's get a little bit more here. Shalom to Aaron J. Shalom to you, brother. You see here, 2 Ezra chapter 9 and verse 20 says, so I considered the world, and behold, there was perils because of the devices that will come into it. So we seeing right now these devices that's getting ready to come into the world, which in fact is new digital infrastructure that they get ready to put into place. It's going to be dealing with your biometrics, face recognition, social credit score, UBI, universal basic income, RFD microchip. All these things are coming into play left and right. The men of the Lord, we are constantly warning you. It is here. It is at the door, man. These things are fast approaching. It's time to watch, pray, and be sober. You know what I'm saying? Wisdom and knowledge should be the stability of the time. We're constantly warning you that our salvation is very close at hand. So it's going to be a time of trouble that we have never seen before. These said perils, you know what I'm saying? An evil time, that's coming upon us left and right. Some dark, perilous time, man. The Lord is going to show up in the midst of World War III. Things are constantly brewing left and right. Y'all same brother, 2 Ezra chapter 9 and verse 22 said, let the multitude perish then which was born in vain, and let my grape be kept and my plant, for with great labor have I made it perfect. So that's talking about the elect, you know what I'm saying? So the Lord is going to only, when the Lord returns, He's only coming back for that 1/3 remnant, the one that stayed loyal to Him, the one that's constantly doing His will each and every day, the one that constantly sighing and crying, keeping our side, not being afraid to speak out against this wicked red devil. You know what I'm saying? That's why the Lord said in Psalm chapter 94, who will stand up against the workers of iniquity. You know what I'm saying? Those are the men of the Lord. We constantly warn you left and right, because we constantly foreseeing the evil. We seeing what's getting ready to go down. You know what I'm saying? We seeing before it happened, man. Man, I'm telling you, we're here. See what we got here. Job chapter 20, verse 23 said, so when he is about to fill his belly, said the Almighty shall cast the fury of His wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. So that's what He's getting ready to do, to set up this new system, this new digital infrastructure, this new blockchain technology, you know what I'm saying? Which in fact is, you will not be able to buy or sell, will not be able to do a damn thing if you don't participate in this new system, putting this C-hip in your forehead or into your right hand. And a lot of people right now are going to take it. They're saying, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do it. If the Lord is not dealing with you, you don't have any type of faith, you know what I'm saying? What are you going to do? When you don't have food for several days, when you don't have a place to stay, what are you going to do? When you're cold, when you're sickly, you're constantly complaining, what are you going to do? A lot of people are going to turn on one another. That's why you go to Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 2. The Lord said, I will set the Egyptian against Egypt, American against American. It's getting ready to be a lawless time, man. We see how this is lining up. So this red devil is getting ready to make his move. And see here, let's get a little bit more of this. He got here Job chapter 20 and verse 25. He said, it is drawn and cometh out of the body. Yea, the glittering sword cometh out of his gall, terrors upon him. So that's right, So the Lord is getting ready, He's gonna rain it upon him while he's eating that laser and chariot fire, that those IBCM missiles. So when you go in this verse right here, verse 25, it says Job chapter 20 verse 25 say it is drawn and cometh out of the body. It's talking about those silos that these IBCM missiles gonna come out, and that glittering sword is the IBCM missile. So things that get ready to go nuclear, so that glittering sword cometh out of his gall, terrors are upon him. So one thing about it, we already know that those missiles are going to be shot, throughout the ends of the earth, and they shall not miss their mark. So when they talking about these arrows, these glittering sword, these IBCM missiles, and also that laser and chariot fire. So the Lord is preparing these things upon us left and right. Let's get another. Let's drop down here. Let's get through in here. Proverbs chapter 18 and verse 10 said, the name of the Lord is a strong tower. Said the righteous run into it, and it's safe. So one thing about it, and we know that the true name of the Heavenly Father, is Yahweh. He exists. That's the great King that sits on the throne, the Father which is in heaven, the Almighty, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua, and also his Son, the only begotten Son, our Lord and Savior, and our great deliverer, which in fact is Yahweh Shai Hamashiach. Those names, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua, will be a strong tower in times of trouble. One thing about that hedge of protection, that secret place of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua. The Lord is going to charge his angels over you. To camp his angels around you each and every day. The men of the Lord, man, we are so very close. We're so very excited. So the name of the Lord shall be a strong tower, man. A lot of people don't know the name of the Lord. You're still hollering Jesus Christ, and Jesus Christ will be the ending of you. It's going to get a lot of people killed. A lot of people are going to be unalive. So let's get this one more quick video, and then we'll come back to the coming board. We'll close out. Let's get this one quick video about Iran. So we know the tension is rising. These war drums are beating. The second war is past, but the third will come quickly. World War III is right upon us. Things are getting ready to get very, very dark. Very, very great desperation. Evil's time. Jacob's, man, we're here. Let's get this last one here. One moment. Let's get this one. I got to turn it up. Salaki. One moment.
It's a horrible attack, which
there we
Trump
go.
has boxed himself into a corner where the only alternative we have for taking out is to do this horrible attack, which will probably succeed, but will taint us. And it destroys the global economy. It destroys everything. It destroys the reputation of the United States. It disrupts everything we're trying to achieve. Trump doesn't want this. That's the other important factor. Trump has boxed himself into a corner, just like the Iranians did. And so you have these two parties now that have embraced policies, positions that are unsustainable. Iran cannot continue to be a threshold state. And the United States cannot attack Iran with nuclear weapons. But if Iran continues to pursue that, then we'll do that and both of us lose. And that's why, despite all the stupidity of the rhetoric surrounding these negotiations, especially on the Iranian side, we will never negotiate. America sucks. You're death to America. Oh, no, you're going to negotiate. You have no choice.
So we know we're very close. This war drums are constantly beating. The Lord is gathering the nation. So we're so very excited that we're coming upon these times. It is fastly approaching. It is here. It is at the door. So let's go here. Let's get to one here by see here. Let's go to Revelations. Let's get to one by Revelations chapter. So we know that we're ready upon war. War drums are beating. It's coming very quickly. Let's get to one in Revelation chapter 11, verse 14. It says here, the second woe is past. And behold, the third woe come quickly. Woe goes into destruction. We already know about World War II, what happened back in World War II. But this third World War is going to be the wars to end all war. wars before what? The great and glorious return of Yahweh Ba'ashim Abishai. So we seeing right now, the third war is coming very quickly. War drums are beating each and every day. So now, let's go back to the comment board, and we'll close out. We go to the comment board, we'll close out. We know that the Lord, we seeing that we read upon these perilous times, but the Lord said, for the elect's sake, these days shall be short. So let's get that right quick. Let's go here to Mark chapter 13. Mark chapter 13 and verse 19. We get a few more off the comment board and we close out. Mark chapter 13 and verse 19. Let's get this right quick. He said, for in those days shall be affliction such as was not from the beginning of the creation, which the Almighty created until this time, neither shall be. So it's going to be a time that it's going to top everything that you ever seen before in your entire existence. It says here, verse 20 said, except that the Lord has shortened those days, no flesh should be saved, but for the elect's sake, whom the Lord has chosen, he has shortened the days. So that's exactly what the Lord is doing, accelerating time. Things are constantly speeding up. These events are constantly increasing left and right. Every time when we turn on the flash screen or the social media, we're constantly seeing one event behind another. Earthquakes, you know what I'm saying? Uproars of the people, you know what I'm saying? The love of men is waxing cold. You know, the vengeance, the spirit of vengeance is working overtime. A lot of things that happen. And also we knowing that the men of the Lord are standing on their watch. We'll stand on fire for Yahweh Ba'ashim Abishai. So now, let's go to the comment board and we'll close out. Let's go back to the comment board and we'll close out and go back to the comment board. So like, let's get this couple more about Ramya. We'll shut it down before it's about to dry it out. Let's get to one here. Second Ezra chapter. Start here. Second Ezra chapter 6 and verse 3. Second Ezra chapter 6 and verse 3, and we're gonna read down. It said before the fair flowers were seen over the movable powers were established, before the innumerable multitude of angels were gathered together. It says here, Second Ezra chapter 6 and verse 4 said, or ever the heights of the air were lifted up, said before the measure of the firmament, said were named, or over the chimneys of Zion were hot. You know, so this talking about, the Lord was here before, so he's at the Alpha and Omega. He's going in when he was showing Ezra, Ezra the prophet, the things the what's to come. Let's see here, verse 6, Second Ezra chapter 6 and verse 5. So like it says, and Eve, in Eve the present years, even the present years were sought out, and over the inventions of them that now sin were turned before they were sealed, that have gathered faith for a treasure. Verse Second Ezra chapter 6 and verse 6 said, then did I consider these things, and they all were made through me alone, and through none other. By me also they shall be ended, and by none other. Who is this talking about? It's talking about Yahushua HaMashiach, which in fact he is the beginning and the ending, the Alpha and Omega. So the Lord is going to return, when say he's going to come. He said, behold, the Lord shall come like with clouds. Every eye shall see him, even the one that pierced him. So we coming upon that time. So that's what the angel was describing to Ezra. The Lord is getting ready. Man, the Lord's getting ready to show up. The Lord is the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the ending. The Lord he's coming back and set everything back into order. Same brother, Second Ezra chapter 6 and verse 7 said, then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the time? So when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that follows? Verse 8 said, and he said unto me, from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and Esau were born, said of him Jacob hand held first the heel of Esau. So we already know the beginning of a man is his heel. the beginning of the man is his hand, and the ending of man is his heel. So that's symbolic that we're going to bring him down with this God, this wisdom, and this knowledge. So that's what we're constantly doing. The Lord is making Esau bear each and every day. Shameful spirit is upon his glory. So that's symbolic. You know what I'm saying? We're very close to pulling this red devil down through the spirit and the power of Yahweh Ba'ashim Al-Shai. So we close it out right here. Ramyah, 2nd chapter 6 and verse 9 says, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follows. So one thing about it, we're at the end of this man's rulership. We're at the end of this age, this present age that we know. You know what I'm saying? So it's coming to a close. The Lord is setting back up that righteous vibration back upon the earth. You know, so we seeing that right now that we're seeing that America is slowly circling the drain. We're seeing that the war drums are beating. And also we seeing what the men of the Lord are constantly sighing and crying left and right. So Esau is the end of this world, the end of this age. So we're coming upon the end of an age. And also we're coming upon a new age that dwells in righteousness, which in fact is the kingdom of heaven. And one thing about it, man, we're so very excited. We're seeing these prophets speaking loud and clear. The signs of the times are here. Whether you will hear, whether you will forbear. So the end is being manifest. Measure the times thou diligently, because we're seeing it happening right before our eyes. The Lord is getting ready to come to deliver us. Our salvation is at the door. In the middle of the Lord, we're constantly sighing and crying. Whether you will hear or whether you will forbear. It is here. It is at the door. One thing about it, man, the Lord is coming. The great day of the Lord is fast approaching. Get your house in order. Get your mind right. The Lord is getting ready to come back with great glory and great power. So the title of today's live lesson is a prudent man foreseeth the evil. So I like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shah Ba'ashim, Rekah Quadash. I like to say Shalom. Also double honors to the elders of Great Millstone, and also to the Hofi elect that scattered abroad. Shalom, shalom. Keep pushing, keep believing. We're almost to the finish line. Shalom.